The Free Agents podcast contains mature themes and adult language. Any discussion of gambling is for entertainment purposes only. Please abide by all laws in your location regarding gambling. Can we start?
Welcome in, everybody. This is the revival episode of the Free Agent Sports Podcast. Today is Tuesday, October 14th, and we got a bit of a roundtable here from San Diego area, right, Tommy?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, that's Tom Smith over in San Diego, and we have on the eastern part of the country, we got Joe Smargy, who's currently cooped up in Albany. What's going on, Smargy?
I'm soon to be a West Coaster, hopefully in about a week or so. But the our motorhome broke down, so we're stuck here in the capital city for a little while.
Yeah.
He's living his own version of Chevy Chase's Vacations.
Yes.
There you go. I like that. And then you already heard the voice of the ever-famous LJ. How's it going, LJ?
What's going on, people? It's nice to be back.
Absolutely. This is a live episode, so while we are thinking about it, let's go ahead and get you caught up on things going on around the world of sports. We'll start basically in football real quick, and we'll just run down the scores real quick. No need to really get into too much detail. Colts over the Texans, 33-28. That was Thursday Night Football. Jacksonville lost to Tennessee in a game that really doesn't matter, 16-14. Joe Flacco threw 5 TDs in the first half. That's all you need to know there. Ravens 48, Buccaneers 17. Broncos over the Jets, 31-17. Lions over the Vikings, 17-3 in a game that really exposed the Vikings. 27-24 Packers over the Dolphins in a thriller. The Browns beat up on the Steelers, 31-10. LJ,
I don't even want to. I just don't want to talk about that. I am very upset at my Steelers. This is not a happy time to be a Steeler fan. Is all I'm saying. All right, go ahead.
Panthers and Bengals tied at 37 in the only tie.
They kissed their sisters. It was ugly. Go ahead.
Pats beat up on the Bills in a game that Tom
Brady's death has been premature. Go ahead.
Brady, everybody.
31-28 Chargers over the Raiders in a game that the Raiders should not have been that close in.
Well, David Carr, 4 touchdown passes. It was nice.
Derek Carr,
David Carr, it's his brother. Derek Carr, sorry.
You're good.
David was not as good as Derek. Go ahead.
Cowboys shocked the Seahawks 30-23 up in the Pacific Northwest. Cardinals.
I liked it.
Oh, go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I just enjoyed watching the Cowboys win. I was anti-Cowboy for the longest time, but then now that I don't know, the whole Romo backlash, I just jumped on board. I'm with the Cowboys now.
I still can't.
But Randall, next time, Randall, buy your own underwear and cologne, please. Thank you.
All right. Out to the desert, 30-20 Cardinals over the Redskins. Bears over the Falcons, 27-13. Eagles shut out the Giants in a game that we really didn't see coming. Giants had been playing well until that game. They shut them out 27-0.
Children.
Yeah, there you go. And then the 49ers on Monday Night Football beat the Rams 31-17. And going to hockey real quick, just to kind of touch base with that. Stars over the Blue Jackets, 16 minutes left in the second period. They're up 2-0. Ducks over the Flyers in a game with two teams going in opposite directions. That's in the second. Ducks up 2-0. Islanders and Rangers tied at 1 in the second. 3-1 Sharks over the Capitals in the second as well. 2:10 left in the first period. Sabres over the Hurricanes 1-0. 53 seconds left in the first period in Toronto, and it's 1-1. And then scoreless Devils and Lightning in Tampa, and then just underway in Nashville, the Flames and the Predators. Later games.
I have a question. Does hockey matter before January 1st?
For hockey fans, yes. Anybody listening north of the border would love me for saying stuff like that. So that's fine. So, yeah, and then the late game is the Oilers and the Kings, and we all know how that one's going to end. So, now we get on to baseball real quick, and there's only one game that happened today. And then
there's one going on tonight, too.
It's actually been delayed again.
Really?
Yep.
Is it raining again?
It is.
No,
they
say top of the first. It's 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Yep. It just updated. Orioles and Royals are actually just underway in the top of the first in KC, and then the Giants won a thriller 5-4 over the Cardinals. And I believe that is where we are actually going to start our evening, talking a little bit of baseball. And we have we're down to the final four of teams that, in the NL, teams that have been here, and then the AL, teams that have not been here for decades. So
no, the Giants and Cardinals have been there. Yes. It's the Orioles and the Royals that haven't been there.
Oh, I must have misspoke. That's fine. Either way, but yeah, no, yes. It's either way you're looking at it. You're looking at experience versus youth. You know, whoever comes out of the NL versus the AL. So.
Yeah, the Cardinals have a lot of experience on that team. Plus, they've inserted 3 young guys that have showed off this postseason. Colton Wong with the game winner.
Yep.
The other night, and Oscar Taveras came off the bench to hit a home run. And today, Randy Gerchuk hit a home run to tie the score.
Yeah, and the only thing they got to fight now is this Giants team who just find ways to win in the postseason. They've done it for multiple years now. You know, the 2 world championships, 1 in 10.
You can't kill them. You can't. They're like the beast in a movie. You can't kill them. They just keep coming back to life.
That's about it. Tommy, out west, do you hear any rumblings about the Giants? I mean, I know you're in San Diego, so you're in Padre country, but.
I can honestly say that there's a huge fan base out here going around. This Giants fans everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I'd be saying more Padres, but the Giants just keep winning, and I'd probably say they're their favorite.
Padres also haven't done anything since like 2003. So
right.
Take it for what it's worth there. That sounds about right. And then in the AL, of course, you have the Royals and the Orioles, who, again, as I mentioned, are just underway. And that series, KC leads it 2-0. So I mean,
KC took the first 2 at Camden Yards because they hit home runs, which they didn't do all year.
Yeah,
and their probably biggest disappointment of the year, Mike Moustakas, is now the postseason record for the Royals for home runs. It's like up is down, black is white. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. And that's the thing about the Royals is, they don't have the ballpark where they usually would hit home runs because Kauffman Stadium's a bigger park. So they've been having a field day at Camden Yards, putting the ball in the seats, especially that short left field porch. So
they did it in the earlier rounds too. It's just very weird. I mean, it's very strange. It's like one of those destiny things where everything's clicking.
I think the only thing
you're just waiting for the rails to fall off on the team, but they just keep winning.
I think the only thing that's happened so far that was kind of expected was the Tigers' bullpen was going to implode, and it did on multiple occasions, and it lost them that series.
To me,
the moment they brought Jabba Chamberlain in, and you knew that they were cursed when they brought Jabba in. It's the curse of Jabba.
What were you going to say, Tommy?
To me, that's the main thing here too. Kansas City Royals pitching line isn't getting enough credit. The Tigers got the baseball in my mind. And these Kansas pitchers are just holding Baltimore, and I really think they should be getting the credit right now.
Yeah,
you are correct, Tommy. Yolando Ventura has been lights out, and James Shields has been worth every dollar Kansas City has spent on him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And their bullpen has been good. You can't argue.
Okay, well, I guess so. At this point, I'll go around the table here with this AL series. Do you guys think KC will wrap it up and get the series win? And if so, how many games? We'll start with LJ.
I've got to give the Orioles at least 1 win here, so I'll say Kansas City in 5.
Okay, Smargy, what about you?
Well, I think this series could completely reverse, really because of the park factor. You know, like you were saying, the Royals don't hit for that kind of power in their park, and Baltimore might be a little better equipped to play a low-scoring game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think the Orioles have to at least take a game, if not 2 games here.
Okay. All right. And then, Tommy, what about you?
I'm going to agree with LJ. The Royals can get 5. I think Baltimore's going to start back steady tonight. Maybe win a second momentum, and Kansas City's going to lock it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go the KC route too. I think KC's got enough to take it. I think it'll go a little longer. I'm going to say 6 because I think the Royals will at least get 1 or 2 in their home park. But I think Yeah, I think.
Well, if the Royals take 2 in their home park, it's over.
Yeah,
if
no,
they take 2 in a row. So the
if
Orioles
the
got to steal one,
that's what I meant to say,
and then
sorry.
go back to Baltimore and win one, and then the Royals can come back home and wrap it.
You just explained my scenario for me exactly. That's
all right.
It didn't. My brain to mouth didn't work. Sorry. But in the other series, we've already talked about it a little bit. San Francisco now up 2-1 in that series. Give me a prediction. Basically, I mean, the insurgence of St. Louis, the youth in that team, isn't enough to get them into the World Series. So, LJ, we'll go with you.
With Wainwright's elbow giving him problems, I just don't think the Cardinals have the starting pitching to beat the Giants. The Giants probably 5 or 6 games. I'm saying 5.
Okay. Smarge?
Well, I'm with LJ on that one. Certainly, Wainwright's arm is a big factor, and I think I was reading that Molina was injured as well, and depending on how bad that is, I mean, I don't know that he's out for the series or anything, but that could be a lingering issue for them.
That actually brought on the insurgence of one Colton Wong, who has a walk-off in the series.
And A.J. Przinsky's reared his ugly head.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't know that they can get it done. He's not young. It's tough.
If he falls into the ocean, nobody's going to miss him.
No, they'll probably throw him some weights the way he has pissed off some people.
Nobody likes him. He's the
They will want to bury poor AJ. Everybody hates him.
Class A douchebag of Major League Baseball. Yeah, right up there with A-Rod. Anyway, Tommy, give me a prediction: St. Louis or San Francisco.
Last time I put my money on the team up against St. Louis, it didn't end well for St. Louis got the playoff experience. I think they're going to win it.
Okay. All right. Got a game amount?
I'm going to say 16 games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 6 games as well, but I'm gonna go with San Fran. I think San Fran has the experience to get it done in this time of year, and I don't think, especially with the pitching questions that St. Louis has, I think it'll go 6, but I think San Francisco will win. So, and there's that. And in other news, the Rays lost their general manager today. LJ?
Andrew Friedman is on his way to Los Angeles.
Yep.
To run the Dodgers. He's going to hire himself a GM, but he's going to be the final say in all baseball matters for the Dodgers going forward.
Mm-hmm. And
it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I mean, when Theo had a budget, Theo still made mistakes. Carl Crawford. Mm-hmm. So being an analytics guy doesn't mean and getting some money doesn't automatically equal the greatest team in the world. I think he's gonna bring his ability to build a minor league system and scout and do all of that stuff.
That's one thing.
Because the Rays were full of prospects for years.
Yep.
So he's going to try and use that ability to gather draft picks and this, that, and the other thing.
That's one thing that the Dodgers need is they need an insurgence of youth into that team.
I still think the Dodgers need to fire Don Mattingly. I think Mattingly's made some mistakes.
Okay.
And they need a better guy in there. I hate to say it because Donnie Baseball is one of my favorite Yankees of all time, but I don't think he has the ability to be a manager. That's why the Yankees didn't go with him.
And they also said the same thing about Charlie.
And they went with Girardi instead.
Won the World Series with Philly, though. So we'll see.
What happened with Donnie Baseball?
No, I was saying that they said the same thing about Charlie Manuel in Philly before he won a couple of World Series with them. So,
well, I see Donnie making some mistakes though, and with baseball decisions, and he doesn't get along with their best young player, Yasiel Puig. Mm-hmm. Those two have been butting heads since Puig showed up in the majors, and I think they need to bring in a Hispanic guy that can relate to.
I think part of that's Puig's personality, though, just because I think that when he got here, he was living the celebrity life on top of playing baseball. And he needs somebody authoritative to rein that in a bit, and I think that'll happen as he matures. But it's kind of all swimming to him right now. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean he's walking around eating fast food and smoking Marlboros and driving fast, but I mean that's because he lived in Cuba his whole life.
Right.
And he didn't have fast cars, Marlboros, or fast food. Right. So he's going to show his face and be who he is. But it's just not working. Mattingly is expecting Yankee discipline out of him, and he's not going to get it. You got to find someone that can relate to him and understand him, because he's the catalyst for the team. Mm. He's the guy that can make that team awesome. He puts up Mike Trout type numbers.
Makes sense.
So I mean, he's got that ability, and you can't waste that with Don Mattingly trying to force feed him his nonsense.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. The I think that covers everything baseball that we wanted to talk about. Was there any other tidbits of information you guys wanted? Smargy, you want to jump in on your Red Sox a bit about their bridge year?
Well, yeah. I mean, I checked out of the Red Sox pretty early this summer. So,
bridge year, jump off a bridge year.
Yeah, we'll it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. But I don't really have a lot to add there. I basically took a summer off from sports and really the internet. So I was living in a place with no internet and very poor cell service.
Sounds like
for about 3 months. It was actually it was a nice getaway from sort of the craziness of Facebook and whatnot. But.
Yeah, always. Okay, well, if nobody else has anything to add, let's move from the diamond to the gridiron. And we had some good games this week in the NFL, and we're gonna look ahead. We'll recap a little bit on certain games, but not much. Let's look ahead a little bit to this week. LJ, I know you've looked at the games this week. Give me one you're looking at for Week 7.
This week, the Bengals and the Colts is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers and the Packers would be another good one.
Yeah.
Your Lions are playing the Saints. That's going to be a test for the defense there.
Yes, it is.
For that great Lions defense. Let's start with Ziggy Ansah and Ndamukong Suh and the Lions defense, because the Lions offense looks stalled, but the defense looks like it's come to kick ass this year.
Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, looking at the Lions' offense for real quick, the problem I'm seeing is Stafford's not throwing the ball downfield. There's a lot of, I mean, you could see it in that Vikings game. They won 17-0, but there was a lot of drives that would go 3 and out because they wouldn't threaten the sticks.
I blame Calvin Johnson's ankle for that.
Yeah.
And
you're looking at a situation
where being hurt too.
Tommy.
You're looking at a situation where a guy throwing 1,800 yards a season is just he's in and out. You don't know what he's doing, and he doesn't have that weapon going down the field.
And now Jimmy Caldwell's saying that he actually could sit him until Week 10, is what I'm hearing. And if that's the case, then Lions could be in for a little bit of a hurt. And Golden Tate has stepped very nicely into that number 1 role, though. It's just I'd like to see him get downfield more and not catch these 5 to 6 yard passes and then hope he can break them. I want to see him probably 13 to 15 yards downfield, past the sticks, and see what he can do.
And let's remember, Jimmy Caldwell is used to having Peyton Manning running offenses. Last time he had a really good offense, it was when Peyton Manning was running it.
Right.
So I don't know. This is get Eric Ebron involved, get Golden Tate more involved. Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson being hurt leaves them, shorthanded. But
actually,
it's not an innovative offense. Jim Caldwell's boring. The defense is going to win him some games, but I don't know if he's even got the chutzpah to run an offense, run an offense that can try and make, because they're going to have to air it out, like you said, and make some moves and see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean,
especially against the Saints defense that isn't very good. They may be able to move the ball better.
They should be able to expose it, and they should have been able to expose the Vikings offense or defense a lot more than they did. And the offensive line, the other problem. Child for the Lions did not play well. And I think Stafford went down 4 times, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 5.
And he used to not go down too.
Right,
that was the other thing they used to protect.
Really didn't have, first few games of the season. So that's something to definitely watch out for against a defensive line that's that Rob Ryan's going to try to dial up some blitzes. I have a feeling. So and the other thing I wanted to...
Andrew the Giant versus the Red-Headed Rifle.
Oh yeah,
Colts versus the Bengals. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it's I guess I can pun this and say they're looking for a little bit of luck. Yeah. But I mean, Andrew Luck's been killing it this year. Killing it. He's showing the fact that he is a natural born quarterback. Yeah.
And he's he's been the best in the business so far, other than Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The one thing that I will say is that this is going to be a shootout. I have a feeling, because I have a feeling that even if AJ Green does not play, which it looks like he's not going to, they have they've got Andy Dalton, Giovanni Bernard, and my sleeper that we're going to talk about a little bit later, Mohamed Sanu. who has jumped into the number 1 role in that offense, and he's looking good. And for those on FanDuel, he scored you 23 points in that
Yes,
game.
sir. And
So-
neither defense is doing that well. So, yes, I predict your shootout. The over-under is 49. Bet the over.
Yeah, Tommy, what's your opinion on the Colts? Because I know Peyton Manning left, and you couldn't really stand him. And what's your you're thinking on Luck?
I don't have too much to say about it.
No.
I think Bucks are good quarterbacks. I respect it in their organization. I don't really know how I feel about it.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I know you had like something against Peyton Manning, and you just thought he was an arrogant prick. I mean, you're probably not the only one who thinks that, but that's beside the point. So yeah, let's move over and talk a little bit about. We got a couple of.
Well, the Jets and the Patriots are playing Thursday night in those horrible games, so I'm predicting a Patriot blowout by like 30.
Yeah.
I think Darrell Reeves is going to embarrass him trying.
I'm not even worried about Darrell Reeves. I'm just worried about.
And Browner and Browner's going to be starting this week too, so it's really going to be difficult for Geno to pass, which means they're just going to be stacking the box to stop the run. It's just going to be ugly for the Jets.
It's difficult for Geno to pass against the freaking Titans, let alone the
It's
Patriots.
difficult for
So-
Geno to pass against a Pop Warner team. He looks horrible out
He
there.
does. He absolutely looks atrocious, and he's going to lose Rex Ryan his job. I can.
Well, it's
already-
definitely
Well, we already talked about where Rex is going. It's probably going to be Atlanta.
That's that's my hunch. I think Tommy, you mentioned he might
You
be
are
possibly Oakland, right?
I brought up Oakland, but you made a good point and shot me down, and I think Atlanta is the better spot for him to land.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was you or Tommy, but either way. Tommy, looking at the schedule, you got one in front of you. If you've got one in front of you, give me a game that you're looking for this week.
Game of the week, Kansas City, San Diego. It's going to be a defensive game, and San Diego's going to win the close one.
I don't think it's going to be defensive, but I think that Phillip Rivers is going to get a true test from that Chiefs defense.
Yeah, it should be a good game.
It should be. I completely agree with that.
Other than
Sarge,
that,
I don't know if you have a schedule in front of you at all. What are you looking at?
I'm just looking right here. There's a lot of just really lopsided matchups coming up this week. I'm trying to find a good upset. I wonder if the Jaguars might pull one out at home.
Against the Browns? Against the Browns?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe. The Browns might get complacent there and kind of lay down a bit. That might be an upset to look for. They might at least cover there.
I got
Jaguars might cover.
an upset for you, and this is gonna get the critics all right back on Tony Romo's back. I think the Giants come into Dallas and give them a game, if not beat them.
Oh, yeah,
I
but the
could see
Giants
that.
can't stop the run. The the Cowboys are running the ball at like at a
Mark
crazy rate.
hot.
And their third down I don't know if the Giants defense has the ability to stop this Cowboy team.
But
the
you also have
Cowboys
to
ran
look
the ball on the friggin' Seahawks.
Look at the game that they just played against the Eagles, though. A 27-0 shutout after they've played well for 3 or 4 straight weeks. You got to think that they're going to come in. They're going to come into Dallas fired up in a rivalry game.
If we were looking at the game in the middle, I agree with you, but just the Cowboys playing at home, I don't see it.
Okay, all right, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But I just think I think that has the potential for an awful upset if you're Dallas. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to put any money on it. If I were a betting man, I'd go for Dallas. But at the same time, I think that has a potential. So,
Peyton Manning and his arrogance are playing the 49ers this weekend.
yeah, and I still
That may be the best matchup on this card this weekend.
Yeah, I can.
And that is the Sunday night game, so
Yeah.
I mean Carrie Underwood's going to be there and everybody. So
Yeah, yeah.
and we're going to hear a whole lot of Omaha. And he said Louisiana this week too.
Did he
I heard
really?
Louisiana.
Did he really? And this just in.
Yeah, he added Louisiana to his
Louisiana
repertoire.
Hot Sauce just hired Peyton Manning as a sponsor. So, but the 49ers and Broncos. This is going to be interesting because you both know LJ and Smargy. You both know about my feelings towards Colin Kaepernick. Copernicus is not. I still don't trust him. I really, really don't. I mean, there's times.
Well, there's people out there that believe he can't read a defense yet.
Yep, and that's exactly it. What were you going to say, Tommy?
He's a college quarterback for playoff teams.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Called him a youngin. He said, "You still don't know how to play football, kid."
Yep. And until
And
he
what's with
proves
the
that he
pink
can.
headphones?
until he proves that he can. I mean, he basically his progression is horrible. If his first or second read at the most isn't there, he takes off.
Is Brandon Lloyd going to be as open as he was Monday night?
Yeah, I doubt it.
Because Jesus H. Christmas was he open?
Yeah, the Rams definitely flopped on that defensively. That was interesting to watch. But yeah, it's gonna be the Peyton show. I think the Niners are gonna lose by 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
So even with
normally tight-lipped Eli Manning offers harsh criticism of his Giants. Sorry, that just came across the wire.
Yeah, that's why. That's the other reason. I'm just with the Manning personality. I just think the Giants are going to give the Cowboys a game. We'll see.
Well, you know what? It's 6.5. If you could put it into a tease and get some more points, I'd take the Giants.
Yeah, I could see it. But
division game, rivalry. So yeah, if you can get some more points, I would take some Giants.
Let's talk a little bit about your Steelers, LJ.
No,
just a little.
They need to fire the coach. They need to fire Todd Haley as soon as possible. I warned everybody about Haley. He's a problem. The offense is not moving the ball.
The defense.
They have the weapons. The defense can't. If the offense isn't on the field enough, the defense has been suffering.
It
might be time for Dick LeBeau to retire.
It might be time for Troy Polamalu to hang up his hair too.
We may need to just shuffle everybody off. It might be time for Tomlin to go too, because all those glares aren't working anymore.
Right. Yeah. There's no youth in that secondary for you guys at all. Not
that's not even been the problem. They just are on the field too much. They're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. Mm. The zone blitz that LeBeau was running for years isn't working like it used to.
Yep, and Tomlin is firmly on the hot seat at this point in time. You
can't lose to Tampa Bay and then the Browns. No, you can't do that, Mike Tomlin.
And then Smargy and Tommy, let's talk a little bit about your Pats. And everybody was trying to bury Tom Brady in week after week 2. And week 3 comes out and beats the Bengals by multiple scores, or it wasn't even week 3, was it? If I'm right, no. Either way, he comes out and
week 4. They lost to Kansas City in week 3.
That's what it was. Yep.
After looking, they looked shaky the first 2 weeks, and then week 3 week 3 or 4. We got to look at their schedule, don't we?
Yeah. Either way, I mean, it basically comes down to this. The offensive line figured out how to keep him upright.
One thing people are forgetting too is it's coming in with a tough schedule. So I mean, they started out playing Kansas City. They've got San Diego coming up. They played the Bengals. Had a hard division game against the Bills. It was surprisingly good this year.
They play the Bears. They play the Broncos. They play the Colts. Yep. They play the Lions. They play the Pack. Jesus Christ, the Patriots got a hard schedule.
Yeah, they do.
They have a stretch coming up after the Jets. They play the Bears in New England. Mm-hmm. They play the Broncos in New England. Then they go on the road to play the Colts. They get the Lions in New England. Well, at least they got everybody coming. Then they have to go to Green Bay, and they have to fly clear across the country to play San Diego. It looks like on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a rough schedule.
Yeah, you can keep all that, and I'll keep my Lions schedule at this point. But yeah, if they at least got to go one game over 500 during that stretch over the next 4 or 5 games, I think, and they'll have a shot at at least getting into the playoffs. I don't see the Dolphins.
Well, they're going to win the division because the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets are not going to put up a big enough challenge to knock them off. This isn't the year the Patriots get unseated.
Yeah, although the Dolphins did give the Packers
season.
Say it again, Tommy?
It's going to be a surprising season. I think people are going to see the Patriots go 10-6, and they're going to wonder what's going on. It's going to be a gradual increase for Brady. He's going to keep doing good. He's going to keep getting better with the weapons he has. My sleeper, Tim, I see him emerging.
Let me ask you, you just had 2 big injuries. You lost Ridley for the season and the linebacker. Oh, my God.
It was going to be hard to Ridley's.
Yes.
You lost
2 big pieces.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really concerned mostly about Gerard Mayo. I mean, Stephen Ridley's a great weapon for them, but certainly, it's a passing league. and I think the offense can put it together without him.
Yeah.
But Gerard Mayo he may not be a star, like a truly star defensive player, but he is very much the glue of that core there, along with Vince. And I've seen it. I've seen games in the past where he's out and the defense looks much more confused at times on the field when things are going on. So that's really going to hurt them going down the stretch. But again, they're playing, like you said, in a pretty weak division. So I think 10-6 is a great prediction, but the postseason is going to be real tough for them.
Yeah. And actually, Stephen Ridley, didn't he just go down too?
Yep.
Yeah, they're without both of them, I believe, for the season.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big blow.
Did we lose LJ? LJ.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
Good. Just making sure. Cool. Okay, yeah. So let's. We talked a bit about the Pats. Talked a bit about the Steelers. Talked a bit about my Lions. Any other teams that you're looking at as
Chris,
or
real
even
quick.
players? What's that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we did talk about the Cowboys. We touched on it, but they are running the ball like champs right now.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray's, 459 yards so far this season?
He's been ridiculous. I don't know what changed in him and what changed in that.
Actually, 785 yards so far this season.
It's quite a
And
big
Romo's got 1,510 yards receiving. Des Bryant's been a beast.
Yep, I believe ESPN.
This
had
is a
3
team
in
that
power
everything
rankings.
is coming together, and Rod Marinelli is running the defense like he's some sort of magician. This was a defense that lost DeMarcus Ware and Sean Lee.
Yep.
And they're shutting teams down. They shut down the Seahawks.
And don't forget that Rod Marinelli also coached the 2009 Detroit Lions to an 0-16 record. So something clicked in him too, I feel like.
Well, he's always been a great defensive coordinator. He just wasn't a good head coach.
No, that's true. And you do see that. You do see that. So, we'll see. I still think, like I said before, I think the Giants will give them a game this week. I think the Cowboys are going to be a bit shocked at what the Giants will be able to do to them. So we'll see.
Can we tell Eagle fans to go fuck themselves because they were cheering the Victor Cruz injury, and that was just cruel, man. That was just severely cruel.
That's Philly fans, though.
Too much.
And they stole some dude's leg. They stole a Vietnam veteran's false leg, and the cops were looking for it all night. It was all over Twitter.
Jesus, what were you saying there, Tommy?
Too much salsa dancing.
There you go. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about the Eagles. I mean, I don't mind the team, but the fan base can.
Well, now I want to curse the team because of the fan base.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I'll drop Nick Foles and I'll trade LaShawn McCoy for my fantasy team, so I don't have anything to do with it.
There you go.
Just take a pig into the stadium and get kicked out.
Yeah. There you go.
Screw those Eagles.
There you go.
Go and curse somebody that's down like that. Let's talk about something more pleasant. The NBA.
Yeah, let's talk a little NBA. That's fun. Had a preseason game what was it? Like 4 days ago. LeBron, as a Cavalier, laced up against his former team, the Heat.
Screamed to one of his teammates.
Yeah.
And then Shabazz Napier brought the Heat all the way back when the scrubs are in, and it turned into some sort of game. But LeBron went out there and just distributed the ball. He had 8 assists. Kevin Love dropped 25 points on him, and then he told Chris Bosh, "I can play with him much better than you did."
There you go.
And that's exactly what he did. And he said, "Sorry, Chris. I'm going to enjoy this much more than you did."
Another thing we saw from the Heat is that Chris Bosh actually started playing more inside. He shot a ridiculous amount of threes last year, and when LeBron was there. And with LeBron gone, not clogging up the lane, he was actually able to do work down low, and he did pretty well at doing it, especially in the second quarters.
Well, they're going to count on him to be down low. He's going to become the Chris Bosh he was in Toronto.
He's got to.
He's probably going to put up 22 and 12 for the season. So if you're talking fantasy basketball, you're going to want him. But that team is going to – they don't have anybody to create anything on that offense. They're going to be whipping the ball around, but they're not going to have a creator like LeBron. LeBron creates. That's what he does. And they're going to run a small ball lineup in Cleveland that is going to have Love at the center, LeBron at the 4, Sean Marion at the 3, Deion Waiters and Kyrie Irving in the backcourt. It's going to be an amazing thing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to outscore teams in stretches probably 20-2. They're going to be just ridiculous this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch. I'm watching right now as Kevin Love just banked a shot over Larry Sanders from the Bucks. But what's really fun to watch is Giannis Antetokounmpo is running the point for the Bucks right now.
Say that 10 times faster.
Who?
Giannis Antetokounmpo, the 7-foot kid from Greece, is running the point. He has a 7'3" wingspan,
Giannis
and he's running the point for the Bucks right now.
That should be very interesting. Jason Kidd.
And Jason Kidd has a sly smile on his face because the Bucks are actually tied with the Cavs right now with Giannis running the point.
Jesus, that's insane. That's insane. All right, well,
It is. I'm loving it.
You touched on fantasy. LJ, I know you've got a sleeper in fantasy basketball this year. Give it to me.
Well, I think Harrison Barnes, who just got told he was going to be in the starting lineup for the Golden State Warriors, and Andre Iguodala is going to be coming off the bench. So, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Kerr is going to be running some form of triangle-type offense, and Harrison Barnes is going to be in a Scottie Pippen role.
I never thought
he's going to be putting up numbers with all across the board, rebounds, points, everything.
Completely unrelated, but I never thought that Steve Kerr would see the back of a bench for coaching.
Oh, I mean, he was a good GM, and so he understood that much, and he's an X's and O's guy. I mean, he was.
Every time I think of him, I think of TNT. That's just it. That's the mental image I get when I think of him, and I just didn't think I'd see him. I think it's awkward seeing him coach a team.
Strong basketball mind. Everybody said it. Phil Jackson was dying to get him to coach the Knicks.
Yep.
And he ended up, getting his second choice with Derek Fisher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it looks like the Knicks are in for a long season while they learn that triangle.
Tommy, not sure if you have one. I know you pay attention to basketball to some degree. Do you have a sleeper?
I got a fantasy don't. Derrick Rose. I'm going to say maybe 12 games before the injury.
Come on, man. I watched Derrick Rose last night pull a crossover and get down the court. He's got that old speed going. I really don't want him to get hurt. Don't curse him.
We'll knock on wood.
I'm looking forward to it. I want the Bulls to be right there challenging the Cavaliers because I'm a Sixers fan, so everything's going to suck.
Well, I
need to have something to watch.
Yeah,
I need to have something to enjoy. So don't ruin Derrick Rose for me again.
ESPN's got the Sixers winning 19 games.
Not even. They're losing to the Knicks right now, 60-40.
I feel your pain, man. Paul George was out. We trade away.
Looking forward to the future. Nerlens Noel, Joel Embiid, the future.
Yeah. And Tommy, you were mentioning something about the Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, after the brawl, I'm much more fan, more toward the Pacers. But Paul George went down with a leg injury. They traded away, but lost next season. Pacers aren't looking to go this season either.
Yeah. And
it's going to be the George Hill and Roy Hibbert show.
Yeah, and Roy Hibbert needs to find a way to get more than 0 rebounds in a playoff game.
Well, so far during the preseason, he's been excellent, but it's the preseason. He disappeared when the stakes were high, and he's there when the stakes are nil.
We'll see what happens when the calendar turns to November. I'm
going
to hold my breath on that. Smargy, you and your Celtics. You got a sleeper? You got a fantasy don't? You got anything as far as that goes?
I don't have a ton on the Celtics other than they are going to be part of this new experiment of a 44-minute long game in the preseason here coming up.
Yeah.
Which is something that really
Sunday
interests
when they're going to do it.
Yep.
And that's something that interests me that they're going to try to shorten the games again. Unfortunately, I don't think it addresses the real problem. Is the reason I think what really drags on in an NBA game is towards the end, like the last minute or 2 minutes, especially if it's an 8-point game or something like that, where they're just fouling and it's just commercial and foul and commercial and foul. Yeah. I wish they could find a way to somehow mitigate that or something. I don't know. I don't have a solution, but to me, that's like the slow, boring part of an NBA game right there.
That's the worst part there. That's supposed to be the most exciting part. And
well, it is if it's a 2-point game, sure. Then it matters.
It is if it's close, but the 8-point game. The thing that they're going to do, too, is maybe they can eliminate some of those commercials and do quick timeouts because they're going to be putting ads right on the jerseys of the players now. It's going to be like the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
you're
that's
gonna see
crazy.
you're gonna see ads right on their jerseys, and so hopefully they can eliminate some of those commercials late in those games,
What I'd
because
like to
that's what
see.
kills you. I hate the commercial timeouts. I really, it's got to be boring for the fans that are there. That's what's killing football too, is commercial timeouts. You go to a football game and you're sitting around and the players are standing around and it's just no fun.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And especially during the national broadcasts, 'cause the national broadcasts are like 3 times worse than your local Sunday games.
Yep.
So that's exactly right. That's exactly right. As far as the Pistons go, and one guy I will mention and is on a lot of people's radar, he's going to have a great year under Stan Van Gundy's system, is Andre Drummond.
And your boy Greg Monroe's coming off the bench. He's going to be the second unit leader.
And I'm going to call it now. He should have been gone before Halloween last year, and he is going to. This will be his last year in a Piston uniform, Greg Monroe's. So,
wow, that if he puts up a show on that second unit, they can get something for him.
Yeah, and they should have been able to get something for him long ago. I don't understand why they held on to him. They could have gotten a pick compensation for him. Now he's going to be unrestricted, and they're not going to get a dime for him.
On paper, the Pistons look about the batting lines.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how they gel. I mean, under a new system with Stan Van Gundy, I could see them.
Well, Jody Meeks got hurt today, so it's going to be Kentavious Caldwell-Pope as your starting shooting guard.
Mm-hmm. And he can shoot.
And Meeks is going to be out for like 8 weeks or something like that.
And don't get me wrong, KCP can shoot. It's just I'm just waiting to see where Brandon Jennings fits into all this, if he can run the Stan Van Gundy system, and if he can, one thing I don't want to see is I don't want to see Josh Smith coming out to the point and shooting threes. He needs to be down low. When with Monroe on the bench, there should be no reason why him and Andre can't work together with Smith in the power forward spot.
And if Brandon Jennings doesn't work out, he has DJ Augustine as a placeholder, as someone pointed out. So, I mean, and Augustine can run pick and rolls and lobs to Drummond and Josh Smith, and they just need to keep him around the basket. And then he needs to pick up another shooter. Maybe Kyle Singer can start with raining threes.
And I was just going to mention Singler.
He needs 3-point shooters to make that offense, that Van Gundy offense, work.
That's what he did.
It relies on threes.
That's what he did in Orlando, yep. And they were surrounding Dwight Howard down there, and Dwight Howard turned into a beast. I think ultimately, and that's the other thing, is Singler, I think, is very underrated. I mentioned him last year, and he quietly had a very good season on a very bad team.
And he's quietly having a good preseason, so he's one of those guys you're going to keep an eye on, because like Hedo Turkoglu and those other guys in that Van Gundy offense, he's going to be the beneficiary of, and Drummond's going to have to learn how to pass out of that double team when he's down low. Because Drummond is just looking like a beast so far in the preseason. Doubles, tons of blocks, rebounds. He's been scoring. He's just looking like he's ready. And that international, he played with the team in the FIBA World Cup game there.
Yep.
And so Drummond's been around the good players, and he's picked up some good habits.
Yeah, we'll see.
And Van Gundy is a mentor, so the Pistons are a team I'm looking forward to watching this year.
Yeah, I'm thinking they'll probably, this being the first year in their system, I'm thinking they'll probably be somewhere 7 or 8 seed. But I think they do get into the
That's what someone said. Someone was pointing out that the Pistons could sneak into that bottom seed there.
Yep.
In the playoffs and scare somebody.
Yeah.
With the team they have.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a system based team, and that system is gonna scare a lot of teams up in the top of the bracket. So, yeah. Anybody else got anything? I mean, I think at that point, NBA is probably gonna wrap it up for us. What do you think?
I'm ready. Yeah, we're gonna do a full NBA preview.
Yeah. So don't go anywhere.
Just touched on some stuff, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're not doing it tonight, but we will do it.
We're gonna have more to say.
Yeah, the season starts.
We didn't even touch on Kevin Durant's injury. We didn't touch on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, October 24th is when the season starts, right?
The 28th is when the season starts.
28th. So we'll do one probably about a week out from the regular season. So definitely take a look for that. But yeah, I think that is ultimately going to do it for us. This has been the revival episode of the Free Agent Sports Podcast. Go ahead and connect with us on Facebook at just go ahead and search Free Agent Sports Podcast. You'll find us on there. Got us on Google Plus. You got us on the YouTube channel that you're viewing right now. Go ahead and add some comments, questions, concerns, and we can address those on air. And so yeah, with that said, we have Joe Smarge. Thanks for coming on. LJ, Tommy. And I believe we will see you guys next week. Thanks very much.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, peace.
Good night.